So apparently this tiny packet can help you lose 6 pounds in 7 days, gives you massive mental clarity, crushes all of your cravings, supports weight management, and basically redefines what human fuel looks like. If you're wondering what we're talking about today, we are going to be dissecting Pruvit's K1 ketones that they're getting ready to launch. I hope y'all are ready. Ava, roll the intro. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin Bees. I'm a certified personal trainer and a fitness nutrition specialist through ACE. I spent 13 and a half years in multi-level marketing, and especially towards the end in the wellness world. And yeah, I sold Pruvit's ketones. I know. Ugh. Today, we're going to be doing exactly what I told a lot of you guys that I would be doing on a members only live in my stories and probably on other live streams as well. We're going to be going through the label of Pruvit's K1 ketones and comparing the claims to the science. No vibes, no feelings, just facts from the label. So let's start with first the claims that they are making. This is a video that I was sent, and it is how this is being promoted to the Pruvit promoters. So let's watch it together, and I'll save all my commentary for the end. So buckle up.
But this is take 2 of this video because I dropped my phone earlier. So super excited to be on here with all of you. If I have not met you, I have been drinking and sharing ketones for almost 10 years.
10 years too long, in my opinion.
10 years. And I'm on here today to kind of bring some of you up to date on what is going on. But I'm also going to encourage you, as you have questions, please reach out to your nearest, most active champ for questions and clarity. But I'm going to give you some information in here. I'm also going to be putting a link in the comments that is to our new system, because we are not active in this Facebook group anymore, but there is a lot going on and I don't want any of you to miss this. So first and foremost, some of you may have heard about a new product that is coming out. Like, listen, I know some of you in here are super engaged. You know exactly what's going on. You've already enrolled with K1. You are rocking and rolling.
Plot twist. Nobody in that Facebook group is engaged at all.
Some of you in here, you're still drinking your ketones, but you're not super engaged in the company, not really sure. And others of you are like, I have no clue. Okay, so I'm going to try and give you a little bit of clarity. Let's start with our product. So K1, this is an advanced formula ketone product. Now, what is so special about this? How is it different from Ketone? I'm going to give it to you very basic explanation. So this is more ketones. There's more ketones in it, but it's also a new formula. It's the first tri-blend ketone formula ever. It has C5 ketones in it along with the DNL isomer ketone.
Does anybody else want Kate to explain what that means? I would pay to see her try to explain what that means. I really would. We're going to talk about all of this here in a second. I just want you to catch the vibe, if you will, of what we're dealing with here. Okay.
It also is sweetened with allulose, which has its own health benefits. We are no longer using erythritol in the new formula. It also has a different electrolyte load, so less magnesium to help with people who used to have gut health issues, some tummy issues with it.
Was it gut health, or was it from a lot of magnesium in the product? Asking for my friends. If you know, you know.
So this is super exciting, but what's even more exciting is
not Melissa May in the comments. Every single person that has tried it is obsessed with how they're feeling. Melissa, relax. Okay? You don't know what you're talking about.
We decided not to just launch a new formula. We decided that we really wanted something that would help us to take ketones mainstream, to cross the chasm, so to speak. So what is a chasm? Well, many of you were early adopters of ketones, right? Like, you were drinking ketones when people told you you were crazy. What are ketones?
We're still saying that. We still believe that in 2026, people don't need to be drinking ketones. You don't need an MLM product. No, we still think that. Early adopters when the company is 10 plus years old. That's an interesting take. I love how she is adopting Brian Underwood talking about crossing the chasm. They all do that. Brian says stuff and they parrot it. It's the weirdest thing. I mean, cult-like behavior, in my opinion. Kind of wild.
That's nuts, right? We were the early adopters, all right? So think about like creatine, omega-3s, protein powder. Like those took 30 to 45 years for those to become mainstream.
You know what's different from Pruvit ketones and omega-3s, protein, and creatine? Do you know what the difference between those and Pruvit's ketones are? There's scientific evidence to back up the claims on those products, if you will, those compounds. That doesn't exist with Pruvit's ketones. They want you to think that it does, but it doesn't. Yikes.
Well, here we are in the history of ketones where we are about ready to cross this bridge to go from early adopters to crossing the bridge and then going mainstream. Okay, to really going from 1% market penetration to 10 to 15% market penetration.
And how exactly are you measuring that? Where are these numbers coming from? If you were going to be so mainstream, that would have already happened. And I do think that that already happened with Pruvit ketones. I think that that was around 2018 that this was like taking off. And they've been trying to replicate that kind of momentum, and it's just not happening for them. And I think this is them trying to do exactly that.
And it was going to take more than just a new formula. It's going to take a new business model that's going to create momentum and speed, less effort with more reward to really get people out there sharing this conversation. So we are
less effort with more reward with a binary comp plan? Huh? Absolutely not.
adopting a brand new business model that people can opt into. You do not have to opt into it. It is by choice to opt in.
I know I'm pausing it a lot on her video, you guys, but this opt-in language is a pay to play. I've talked about this on a previous video, but the opting in is you buying a kit, and I think the prices are anywhere from $355 to $1,200 before shipping and tax, and you're getting a bunch of boxes of Pruvit's K1 ketones. That's the opting in that she's referring to. Anything but calling it buying a kit, because, that's a little harder for people to swallow, especially at that price and in this economy.
Opting into the dual team system. How do you do that? There's 3 different partner packs with K1, a starter, a dual, and an accelerator pack. Each pack holds a different amount of business modules, called them nodes, inside this dual team system. So you definitely want to reach out to your closest champ and get some information on that, because you want to have a lot of nodes. That means you're going to have a bigger business, okay?
I've already talked about the binary comp plan. I think it was a live stream. I'll make sure I link that in the video description. It was either a live stream or it was an edited video. Either way, I'll put the link to that in the video description. They're asking people, distributors in the company, to opt in to buy one of the new packs, and they're encouraging people to buy the largest pack at over $1,200 USD in order to, did I say $12? $1,200, just for clarity's sake. Okay. Anyways, they're asking people to buy in at the highest pack because they need the revenue, in my opinion. But also, when you buy the biggest pack, you get more nodes, which are basically positions that you get paid off within the binary structure. I hope that makes sense. But that's what she's talking about here.
Now, the dual team system is kind of like a binary system. We still have all the commissions going through KetoNat. None of that changes. Nothing on that end changes. You can just have the option of joining in with the K1 dual team system.
Never did I ever think that Pruvit would be announcing a new compensation plan, a completely new compensation plan. But in 2026, I never thought I would hear Kate Higdon saying, oh, it's kind of like a binary comp plan. That is just wild that she is openly admitting this, because, and I'll get into this a little bit more later, but I feel like Pruvit is one of those companies that really tries to make it seem like they are so different than any other MLM company. And to be fair, I think that there's a lot of MLM companies that try to have that same kind of, oh, we're different over here, but the marketing, the language, the culture, all of that is very like non-MLM in Pruvit. I don't know how to explain it. So if you guys get what I'm saying and you are a part of Pruvit, let us know in the comments. I'm just having a hard time wording that, but Anyways, let's get back to what Kate is saying. I just never thought I would see, it's kind of like a binary. Oh, I thought it was a dual team system. Oh, it's a binary. Got it.
Now, if you don't want to do that, but you want to order K1, it will be available for purchase, just a customer base in March. I don't have the exact date on that, but I am super excited about that because what we're noticing so far is people drinking K1, most of them feel it on day one. It is that powerful. It is hitting the brain, giving massive focus and clarity right away, and it's staying in the system longer. I just talked to someone on a leadership team today. She said she had a lady in 7 days lost 6 pounds, changing nothing but switching from NAT to K1. So it has a really amazing effect on appetite control, and your energy is going all day. I notice personally the mood enhancement. So think of Keto Nat that we've had in the past, just enhanced. Like you're feeling the benefits faster and they're stronger. So super excited about that. I'm also, like I said, going to put in the comments a link to our resource. It's called Momentum Pro. It is a website that customers can opt into and partners can opt into. It's a great place to keep up on education, knowing when our calls are, knowing when we have educational calls, all of that. And that is what we're using instead of these Facebook groups. But I'm coming in here today to just give you all a little update of what's going on. I would definitely recommend tuning in to the Monday night company calls.
I would not recommend tuning into the company calls because it's Brian Underwood and Dustin Schaefer, Nick Martinez, whoever else talking in circles, trying to act like they know what they're talking about. And it is a complete waste of time. As somebody that used to get on those calls, complete waste of time.
To just kind of feel what's going on, feel the energy. We are making a shift, and I personally have not had this kind of momentum in my business for 6 years. Like, it is massive.
Never did I ever think in 2026, referring to my notes from earlier, that Kate Higdon would be admitting that her business has been in a steady decline since the panini. But that's what we have here. 6 years ago was 2020. Oh, man.
People are joining. People are loving K1. And if you want to be a part of that, reach out to your closest champ or someone that's in leadership in the company to ask questions. Y'all are gonna love K1. Right now, it is in 2 flavors, berry, that's kind of like a cherry flavor, and berry lemon, which is kind of like a strawberry lemonade. Really, really good. Of course, they come with and without caffeine. They come in boxes of 10. So if people want 30-day servings, they get 3 boxes. So I hope that you have been paying attention. But if not, know that K1 is coming. It is also attached to a new business.
Oh my God, let's read Melissa May's comment here. 3 new partners joined me yesterday alone. We are definitely in momentum. Melissa, stop it. You're still using this kind of, oh my God, get in now, otherwise you're going to miss out kind of shtick. This is so weird. 3 partners joined me yesterday alone. Oh, hopefully they can get a refund.
Model. We have a new website, Pruvit.shop, Pruvit.com. It's different. It's all through Shopify. It's a super easy shopping experience. We also have a new back office, mypruvit.com. So all kinds of new stuff, super exciting, lots of momentum. And I hope that you got some answers to your questions on this call. But again, reach out. And I hope you all have an amazing rest of your week. Bye, everyone.
I just had this random thought. We just watched life activated brands go to basically retail. I don't even know that it's considered affiliate. And they're fulfilling their product orders through Shopify. And it's interesting that Pruvit is now going to be fulfilling their orders through Shopify. Now, this is, I don't want to say it's a prediction. It's just this thought that I had. Do you guys think that they changed the comp plan to push out more distributors to leave the company? Because that's going to happen. I think it's already happening, but there will be more evidence in the next few weeks, few months especially. Do you think that they are changing the comp plan to a binary to push more people out to make it easier to go to like affiliate or to sell the company or just to be fully absorbed by Herbalife, essentially. Do y'all think that that's what's happening here? Because these things that they have changed cost a lot of money. Changing the website, changing the compensation plan, all of that is very, very expensive. So I don't know. I just had this random thought I wanted to share with you guys. But let's circle back and let's talk about some of the claims that were talked about in that video that we just watched. When you have, as somebody that's consuming social media content, when you have somebody that is making these claims that one product can influence fat loss, cognition, appetite, and metabolism all at once, it is extremely important, in my opinion, to slow down and take a closer look, because those are very different physiological systems within the body. They don't share one magic switch. That's not how that works. And I think it's important to mention that. So let's look at the K1 ketones. This is beta hydroxybutyrate. That is a ketone. Your liver makes it when carbs are low in your system, or you can drink it as exogenous ketones. This study shows that when people ingest exogenous ketones, blood ketone levels go up. Okay, that makes sense. So if you drink fuel, your blood is going to show that fuel in your system. And that's not controversial, and that does not automatically equal fat loss like we see from a lot of these people in Pruvit. We have seen people that have made these weight loss claims over the last 10 plus years, and they don't look any different. If drinking a packet of ketones, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, if drinking a packet of ketones magically melted your body fat, nobody would have any body fat after drinking them 2 to 3 times a day for 10 years. It's impossible for this to happen, and we have studies that show that. So check out the sources in the video description as well. This just means that you have fuel in your bloodstream. Now let's talk about the minerals. Okay, these are ketone salts. That means that ketones are attached to minerals. Sodium, look at how much sodium is in this packet, over 1,000 milligrams. 1,070 milligrams to be exact. It also has magnesium, it has calcium, and I think that we should talk about this. Sodium can increase plasma volume. It can make you feel alert and awake. It can create a noticeable shift. That sensation can get interpreted as, oh my God, it's working. It's working.
Oh my God, okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
Now let's talk about magnesium, because magnesium can absolutely affect digestion. And sometimes when digestion changes quickly, that gets marketed as a detox. I've seen it, I've experienced it, and if you have drank too many Pruvit ketones at one time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I think it's also important to mention that these compounds are going to be extremely bitter. They do not taste like you are on vacation in some sort of tropical environment. They taste like regret and poor decisions, in my opinion, if it weren't flavored. And that's why you see some of the flavor profiles that you do from Pruvit. Flavor engineering, however, is not the same as metabolic engineering, and I think that's also important to mention. And one thing from the video that she talked about that they are, in my opinion, attempting to present as some sort of innovation is the C5 thing and tri-blend. Let's talk about that. C5 just basically means 5 carbon atoms. Standard beta hydroxybutyrate has 4 carbon atoms. So they've just added a 5 carbon compound into the blend. And while that might sound high tech or chemistry like, here's what matters. When you ingest these compounds, your body converts them into beta hydroxybutyrate, the same ketones your liver makes when you don't have a lot of carbs in your system. We see, according to this study, that blood ketones rise. What we do not see is a brand new metabolic pathway unlocking because the carbon chain was slightly different. In plain language, your metabolism doesn't drink these and go, oh wow, 5 carbons. It's time to burn fat differently. It just turns it into fuel, temporary fuel. Now let's talk about the tri-blend thing. Tri-blend essentially means 3 sources combined, and that's essentially formulation language. It does not automatically equal 3 separate fat burning systems, although I'm sure there are people in Pruvit that are going to try and say that that's the case. When companies say tri-blend, they're usually talking about delivery profiles, absorption timing, or stability, not revolutionary physiology. And I know some of the Pruvit people are going to be like, oh my God, she's such a hater. You're right. You're right, I am. But I also do enjoy actual scientific evidence if we're going to talk about supplements. I digress. If this were a major metabolic breakthrough, we would expect strong, independent human trials showing clear superiority. And that's just not the case. We don't have that with Pruvit's ketones. We have never had that with Pruvit's ketones and many other supplements that are out there on the market. That doesn't mean that drinking this does nothing. It means that the marketing is definitely louder than the mechanism. If the biggest selling point is how many carbons it has, that should tell you a whole lot. It's kind of weird. Anyways, these 6 pounds in 7 days that Kate mentioned, let's circle back to that really quickly because you guys know I have thoughts on that. 6 pounds in 7 days. So here's what I think probably happened. When carbs drop, glycogen also drops. Glycogen holds water. When glycogen drops, water drops because water weighs something and it's attached to glycogen. So when you break down glycogen, when glucose is needed in the bloodstream for energy immediately, you also get rid of water. And then the scale drops. And this research shows that blood ketones can rise without necessarily increasing your body's own fat burning. So to translate all of this, you can basically look like you're in ketosis on paper without burning your own body fat. And it's really important to point that out. Now, I'm not saying weight won't change. I'm saying the mechanism in all of this is what matters. I believed all of this from Pruvit at one time too. I believed this was fat loss at one point. I didn't understand my body, and now I know better and we're going to do better. And I also understand why some of this can be kind of confusing. And I hope that by the end of this, there's more understanding as far as how this works. Let's go back to the claims on focus and cravings and clarity that Kate mentioned in her video. The brain can use ketones as fuel. That part is absolutely true. But short-term fuel availability is not the same as long-term cognitive enhancement. If you drink ketones plus electrolytes, of course you're going to feel somewhat alert. That does not mean that your brain was upgraded. And as far as cravings, many factors are going to influence craving. Things like sleep and stress, protein intake, fiber intake, and lifestyle habits. No drink is going to override the entire system. That's just not how it works. If you're looking for ways that you can manipulate your appetite, or if you're looking for appetite suppression, I guess is how I want to say that, here's a couple tips that you can use that are very easy to implement into your diet. Protein is going to help appetite regulation. Fiber also helps with feeling full, and consistent calorie intake is definitely going to help. Ketone salts temporarily raising blood ketones is not the same as reprogramming your hunger hormones. That's just not how this works. The weight management part of Kate's video was extremely vague, and I think it allows marketing to imply fat loss without promising fat loss. If this product alone caused significant long-term fat loss, we would have strong independent human trials proving that. And we don't, as I've mentioned before. And also, and this is not me body shaming anybody that is in Pruvit, but if you've been in Pruvit for 6-7 years and your body composition looks the same or you look like your body is larger, I don't think it's fair for you to market this as fat loss. And I think that's why we see many of these distributors will sometimes talk about fat loss when they're manipulating their caloric intake and their macros and probably their carbs, and when they're not. I think that's why we see the shift in, oh my God, I'm down 80 pounds and this and that. And then they start getting pushback because people can see what is actually going on. And I think it's also important to mention that I participated in this stuff. I sold ketones. I said a lot of the same stuff that they are saying now, maybe not with the K1 ketones, but definitely with KetoNat. And one thing I will tell you is that it almost always they were paired with dietary structure. That could be eating a keto diet or low carb. It could be something as simple as calorie awareness or simple changes to their lifestyle. When people lost weight, it was usually the diet that they were following, but the packet took the credit. And I think that's also important to point out here. Let's talk about performance because Pruvit also mentions, oh, this is great for performance. And okay. This review looked at ketones and exercise performance. Now, some endurance context showed small benefits. Some showed none. Some were quite inconsistent. It was inconsistent, I should say, across the board. And most research used ketone esters, not commercial ketone salt drinks. Why am I differentiating that? Because we don't have the same type of research on the ketone salt drinks from Pruvit. So a lot of times when you see people in these MLM companies that are talking about a supplement, and they're like, see, research shows or studies show, those studies and that research is not done on that company's product. They're trying to loop in actual research, and it's a different setup. It's a different product. It's not the MLM product. So that's why I'm differentiating that. I think it's important to point out. And as always, context absolutely matters. Speaking of, why does all of this matter? Because this isn't necessarily about attacking a packet or attacking Pruvit. It's about expectations. I don't want people to mistake water loss for fat loss after hearing Kate's she lost 6 pounds in 7 days or whatever it was. I don't want people to mistake intaking sodium for clarity. I don't want people to mistake drinking exogenous ketones as a fuel source for a complete metabolic overhaul. Now, I'm not saying that if people drink this, that they're not going to feel something. I am, however, saying feeling something is not the same as the claims being implied. If your goal is fat loss, better energy, better focus, that's what all the Pruvit reps say, what I used to say. Here are some things that actually work. Protein at most meals, fiber from whole foods, consistent calorie intake, hydration, sleep. If you want to be in the state of ketosis, you can lower your carbs consistently. As always, if we're talking about diet and nutrition, I would definitely talk to a registered dietitian, talk to your doctor for guidance to see if this is right for you. But that is the mechanism to change this stuff. It's not glamorous. It's not premium, but it does work. If this were as revolutionary as Pruvit wants you to think, then the label would reflect that. And it simply doesn't. It shows fuel, aka ketones or beta hydroxybutyrate, and it shows electrolytes. Your metabolism is what is doing the heavy work here. The packet gets to take credit from the people that are in Pruvit and drinking these ketones, unfortunately. And let me just say, if you're considering K1 ketones or consuming this product, I definitely suggest that you watch the Pruvit playlist that I have linked below. I have covered all of the grifts, all of the pay to play, all of the compensation plan structures, or changes, not structures. I have covered the Keto Dollar Club. I have covered the Keto Coaching Course, the Keto Meals. I'm trying to think of all the grifts, the Fueled by Female ketones that they put out. I've covered so much of it. So check that out. And yes, it's going to piss you off, but I think it's important for you to see as somebody that used to be a part of the company, because I do think that you guys deserve context. I think that you deserve clarity, and you deserve more than the hype that Pruvit is attempting to spoon feed you guys. As always, you guys stay skeptical, don't get scammed. And I'll leave you with this final thought. If this is the future of human fuel, it looks suspiciously like flavored electrolytes with massive ambition. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting, and hyping. And I will see you guys on the next video. Bye, everybody.